Good morning. This is my second actual post. Today I want to talk about relationships and not knowing whether to leave a relationship or not due to toxic situations, whether it is a work situation, a friend situation, a companionship situation, or a loving connection. Before we enter a relationship with somebody, we normally know mostly what we're wanting, what we're probably not wanting, what we would put up with, what we may not put up with. However, in a relationship, we become part of another person. When we've become part of another person, we sometimes have what we believe are little allowances in the relationship. Those allowances we have are sometimes due to not actually wanting to feel alone, not wanting to feel like no one loves you, not wanting to feel as if you're not deserved or cared for, but putting up with situations that you not normally put up with because it's okay to try and put up with this because it might change, which most likely doesn't change without counselling and working towards changing, which is possible. But staying in an area where it's toxic, sometimes we have to look outside the box and realize, why am I still here? Why am I in this situation? Why am I in such a toxic situation? And why am I putting up with it? Sometimes we get confused with the feeling of love averse to the feeling of the companionship of having somebody, and it's deemed okay that we can go through these times where we can be slightly gaslighted, which is not always intentional by other people, nor knowingly do they realize what they're doing. Gaslighting is when other people unknowingly, most times unknowingly, make everything seem as if it's your fault, you've done wrong. Everything's happening because you can't control yourself, you can't control your words, you can't look after yourself. Situations similarly to that and more. And gaslighting can be very detrimental to a relationship because quite often most people don't realize they are gaslighting. And sometimes we relive relationships that we saw as children from our parents. A lot of times this unknowingly happens as well because we're trying to search for something different. However, you've grown up in a situation where it's normal to see maybe there's domestic violence, there's arguments, there's not a relationship where it's happy, people are not getting along. It can be very numerous differences why things happen. But sometimes the hardest thing in life is accepting happiness. To explain this simply is, you have one whole day, actually I love the Kardashian girls because I think I know some people don't, but I really like them because I think with their mum, they work very, very hard and they try really hard, and their life's been at the forefront of people and social media and what people think of them rather than being able to have their private lives. But I was watching a particular episode And in this episode, I think it was Chloe, someone said, it's all these people that said all these lovely things about her. There was one person that said something negative and she got so upset about it. And she's such a beautiful girl. And this one thing that I'm pointing out, I'm not putting anything down on anyone else, I think she's beautiful. What I'm saying is, you can have a whole day where everyone is lovely to you. People are kind to you. People say lovely things to you. They'll comment on what you're wearing, what you look like. You might have a nice interaction. However, one person may come along because they're having a bad day. Most of the time it's because they're having a bad day and they're not able to cope with the situations or feelings that are within them, and so they're taking them out on other people. And adversely, when things like this happen, we get taken aback because that one negative spear in your heart seems to be more credible than 1,000 lovely comments of how beautiful you are, what a lovely person you are, or just people who are just normal interaction or with you, who are kind and caring. I think this social world we live in is an area where it's very, we're living in an area people like the community to be sort of more dumbed down, a mainstream environment where people are blending in with everybody, thinking the same, a bit like the Henry Ford motoring of cars, the Model T Ford, and everyone had a Model T Ford, and eventually the second lot, long as they're all black, which wasn't the case in all Model Ts, but at the end, the second lot, Model T Fords were all black, so everyone owned a Model T Ford. Henry Ford also encouraged people in his workplace as well with the cars, etc., in his own ways. That's another story. However, my point is, we live in a society that is now become social media available 24 hours a day at all times. People are available to look at all different things of whatever their like is. However, so many people try to look for happiness and can't find happiness. And sometimes we're detrimental to ourselves. And in saying this, the negativity that one person may say, or we may see one negative comment about something, we take so much to heart. And we don't value the strength, the clarity, the care and kindness that is love, that we say in words of kindness to each other, as much as we should accept them and appreciate how beautiful these words are. When we're in a relationship and it becomes a time where there's toxicity and we're not sure, should I stay, should I go, maybe the person might change, and then the person's starting to put things back on you as a person, and this is your fault, this is gaslighting, this has happened because of you. Even in family dynamics this can happen too, and you'll get someone feeling so bad that they don't feel comfortable being around that person, even if it's somebody that they love. This is when we have to look and take a step back and realize that is not your fault. That is not your problem. This didn't happen because of you. This way that this person is explaining and putting this back on that individual, this normally happens because the person within whom they are as a person, is not truly happy in the environment and situation that they're in. So therefore, they're casting stones in your direction, because it's easier to cast stones in someone else's direction than look within at what the real problem is. Most of the time in a relationship where it's not harmonic, or there's psychological devaluation and blaming and shaming and arguing, is normally a result, not always, but normally there's a result of this is what they saw as children in their family dynamics, and wasn't their family's fault, but this ingraining thought is what they know as safe environment. It's the known environment. It's the only environment that is a comfort environment, even though it was toxic, because it's the only thing you know. And even though you want to go better forward and be happier, it's not always that easy. And it's not always that easy to go forward with happiness, because one of the hardest things to do is to reaffirm happiness. It doesn't matter if you're on the moon, it doesn't matter if you're in Mars. If you haven't found true happiness in yourself, you're not going to find it on another planet, in another universe, no matter what. It does help, certainly, being somewhere where it's safe, of course, having things around that are safer for your environment, make you feel comfortable, situations where people worry about money, which is, I think, a lot of people, especially families, have arguments or monetary issues a lot, and that is very hard, and it would put a lot of strain on a relationship, of course. But it's also, in a westernized country, looking at a third world country, we are so very lucky. We have doors that close, windows with glass that we can shut. We have proper functioning bathrooms. We can make something to eat with our kitchens. We are very lucky in the third world country. We are very lucky, not in the third world country. We are very lucky in our westernized countries that we have. We are very lucky. The happiest people I have ever seen in my life were the children on the streets of India who didn't really have much at all, and they were so happy, so happy. And people's wants and desires for material need, that's fine, it makes them happy. And we can have these material desires which can make life easier and more comfortable, certainly at certain times. However, it does help change things and can help people who are struggling with health battles to pay bills, seek medical help because they can afford to. However, getting back to the relationships again, relationships where there's not harmony and happiness and we're not sure if we should stay or go or what we should do, a lot of things in this area revert back to, it doesn't matter if you have everything in the world, you have all the money in your bank account, the best car you can drive, you can pay for, say if you're a man, all the women you wanted, if you wanted to have them devote themselves to you, and you could be with whoever you wanted to be with, because sometimes people don't care about other people's respect or needs. Sometimes people are after different things in life. But if you are truly not happy within yourself, doesn't matter how many people you're with, if you're a woman, how many men you're with, a man, how many women you're with, how many relationships you go to, until you can find self-love within your heart, within yourself, with who you are, it's going to be very hard to go forward in life and find a relationship that you feel works, or that relationships are working for you. It's very easy to say goodbye to somebody, leave a relationship, and go to somebody else and feel that it's going to be rainbows and ponies and mermaids and castles in the sky, because that might be fun for a very small amount of time. However, there's one person in life you will never get away from, and that's yourself. And self-love is so important. It's very important for yourself to love who you are. Sometimes it's very hard to do that because it's when you've grown up in situations where you're not aware to the knowings of what that feels like, because it's foreign. You have to create things where you can start to feel safe, happy, content. And sometimes we have to look within. Sometimes that's where things like meditation really does help. It's concentrating on our heart chakra, the love that's in our heart, and our truth of divinity of who we are. If you're struggling today with a relationship of whether you should stay, you should go, should you put up with this, should you say if you have a family, if you're having domestic violence, should you stay because you're scared you won't have a roof, but there's violence and the children are seeing this is embedding them, and if you're taking them away, are you a bad mother or a bad father or a bad person? You're not a bad anything. You're just trying to do the best you can do. Sometimes easiest way to answer these things are, oddly, if you're a girl, go back to childhood. If you're a boy, go back to boyhood. If you're a boy, get two little soldiers together, like the armies fighting, say Germany and Russia or something like that. Components. And if you're a girl, you can have two little Barbie dolls or something, as easy as that. And if you look at these Barbie dolls, one could be you and one could be you in the relationship. The same with the man. One army side could be you, Germany, not in the relationship, and one could be, say, Russia, in a relationship, destructing, dividing. It's probably not a good evaluation of sides, but however, if it works, it works. Normally, the person looking outside a relationship before they enter, if it's not great always to start off with, there's always that hope that someone might change. There might be difference. There's hope that if you have the relationship with that person, that it will not be the same as what that person has had with other people, because you're different and more compatible, which sometimes happens and sometimes works. However, when we're in a relationship, compared to before we were in a relationship, we have clear clarity of wants and desires, what we want, what we would like in a relationship, and what we wouldn't like and what we would not expect to put up with being treated like. On the other hand, and I say this, if you are worrying, should you stay or should you go, and when there's domestic violence and safety issues, and there's been things like police or anything like that involved, it's a very scary situation. It's not always this cutthroat easy to do, because there's lots of dynamics at play, and your safety is number one. And that's seeking the best safe places, which online you can always find. You just Google help, and in your country there should be someone who can help with violence or relationships or depression or whatever it is you're going through. Before we get into the relationship, we're I wouldn't, you would think to yourself, I won't have someone treat me like this. I wouldn't put up with someone speaking to me like that. You could be with some friends and that person's speaking horrible to their wife, girlfriend, partner, and you think, I couldn't put up with that. I wouldn't put up with that. However, sometimes you can get into a relationship and you put up with little things because you don't want to be alone. You don't want to be lonely. You don't want to have nobody. And you don't want to just be by yourself. Because it is very lonely. It is hard. But no one can really put you down if you're by yourself alone. When you're in a relationship and things are not happy, take yourself back to the time before you would experience a relationship with anybody. What were you looking for? What was your want? Have you lost your identity of who you are? Are you part of somebody else? Are you part of you? Are your thoughts shared with somebody else? Or have your thoughts become somebody else's narrative that you now believe is you, and lost who you were as a person? So I say the most important thing in life is to, number one, be safe. Safety, number one. You want to be healthy and happy. Happiness and health goes all together. That's very important. But no one deserves to be a doormat in life. No one deserves to be less as a person. No one deserves to be put down. No one deserves to be unloved. No one deserves to be bullied. No one should be the bully. And no one should be unkind, caring, cruel. You should not have to tolerate any of this. If you're having problems with where to go, what to do, have a look online accessibly. There's libraries people can go to that people can access, free libraries. There is help out there if you need help. But do ask yourself, before I was in this relationship, things change. People have families, dynamics change, situations change. Sometimes it's hard with money, and there are problems that happen. Not everything is rosy and great and gay and wonderful. Things happen, and that's part of working through things together as people. But when there's toxicity, abuse, violence, and gaslighting, and people putting other people down because of pure hate, this is when we have to ask ourselves, what did I want? What was I looking for in my life before I came here? Am I in love? Am I loved? If you can't talk with that other person, if you have to think about your next steps and you need help, as I said, help is available, but separate your life. What's the likes? What do you like about this situation, this person, this friend, this social group, this club? What do you like about it? What's the negative outcomes from that? And if you're standing back as a person opposed to being in that situation, how do you feel you are not being respected because you should be respected? Respect yourself, but other people should respect you as well. It's very important. Love comes from within. One of the hardest things in life is loving ourselves because there's so much negativity around us. If it was that easy to be happy and gay and having wonderful time in life, everyone would be doing it. But we do have to address situations in life. And only when we start to make a change within our hearts, within ourselves, and look for self-love, happiness, and there's terrible situations that go on around the world. But only you can control your harm and hurt. If you can get away from it, you can get away from it. If you can't, if you can put a narrative of some healthy dialogue into your mind to strengthen you, to changing a negative into a positive, it's just words. Just words. But the emotion of feeling it is far more greater than that. Today I ask you, look within yourself. If you're not sure if you should stay in a relationship, especially if it's new too, and something's happening, do you stay or do you go? What are you going to do? You should respect yourself, love yourself. However, you should be respected, you should be loved, and you should be cared for. With all my heart, I hope and pray that your day is beautiful and loving and caring, and I hope that beautiful, wonderful things happen in your life. Remember, we send love to you from our hearts, myself, my pussycat Mallow, but I send love to you. If you don't love yourself, how are you ever really going to feel love? It starts from number one person, from yourself. Breathe, close your eyes, hand on heart. I say this to you. If there is safety measures and help around you and you do not feel safe and you need to leave an environment, don't let other people tell you. You decide what's right for you, because only you and that person in the relationship with you knows the situation, and we all have different points of view as well. But want the best for yourself. You don't deserve the worst, nor the least. You're special, you're individual, and you are you, and you make the difference. Have a beautiful day. God bless. And later on today I'm going to post a healing meditation as well. So 2 posts for today. Have a wonderful day. With all my heart, God bless. And have a beautiful day. Remember, be kind, be caring, and think before we speak. And speak with love, kindness, and gentle tones.